Meet Terry and Carrie. They want an RV. Really, they want the freedom that comes with being able to pick up whenever they want and to move from one breathtaking view to another. The kind of freedom that takes them across the country and beyond, living their dream. But if they buy the wrong RV, it might actually pop their dream world. Maybe they pick one that's too heavy to tow for their vehicle, or go with the wrong dealership who won't service their RV. There are questions to ask before they buy, and even more once they become an owner. Thankfully, there's the RV Advisor, the only non-biased platform for information for the RV and outdoor enthusiasts. Get the best tips, tricks, and discounts at all KOA nationwide campgrounds and other huge discounts that every RV enthusiast will love. Now, Terry and Carrie are living the life exactly how they want. Join the RV Advisor family and enjoy everything you need to maximize your RV experience.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and I'm joined today by Ann and Drew. And hi, folks. They are from Runaway with Us RV. Runaway with Us RV. And I'll tell you, I could use a runaway right now. Wherever you're going, I'll tag along if you don't mind. You're in Cape Cod right now.
That's correct.
Yep, that's right. The videos are a little behind. So if you go to our YouTube channel, they're about 6 weeks behind where we actually are. Mm-hmm. But you can always go to our website and see where we are right at the moment.
Gotcha. Terrific. You near Hyannis or Yarmouth?
You were actually right on the coast in a town called Orleans, and we're right on the National Seashore.
Terrific. Yeah. I used to get up there a fair amount when I was a kid and loved Cape Cod. And it's a beautiful spot, and I would imagine the fall foliage is in full flame right now.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
And we're being a little gluttonous because we're filming a couple of segments of how to have lobster while you're here, an ice cream challenge, and also a New England clam chowder challenge. So,
oh man, wow, that's the holy trinity right there.
I tell you, so my cholesterol level's not liking me, but the videos will be great.
I got you, man. That sounds fantastic. Good for you guys. And so we chatted for a moment before we came on, and you said that after Cape Cod, it's a trek southward.
Yeah, so we're gonna start from here toward Newport, Rhode Island, where the uber rich had their little spring cottages of 20,000 square feet, and then we'll hit Mystic, which was a big seaport and also had a movie, Mystic Pizza, with Julia Roberts.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're going to kind of hop down to the Washington, D.C. area before hitting the Outer Banks, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, and Hilton Head.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, that sounds like a plan. There's a cool, if I recall, there's a pretty cool planetarium in Mystic.
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
We'll take a look. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, I remember it as a kid, and I think it's still there. Tregworthy. I forget the name of it, but it's a pretty good, pretty cool spot. You can sit and watch some pretty cool planetarium shows. Sit back and kick back and watch the 360 view of the sky.
Yeah, we're always a fan of the planetarium.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
So wow, well that sounds fun, and you work your way down to Hilton Head, and then it's westward ho, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we in our season 1 of our YouTube videos, we kind of featured a lot of the areas there. So we're gonna skip over a couple of the cities while we're going across because we've already done them. But we're headed toward Dallas for the Thanksgiving era. And we're excited for that because the only time we were in Dallas was to pick up the RV. And so we didn't get to really explore.
Okay. Interesting. So, how long, this traveling thing always fascinates me because,
Sure.
You're on the road and and it's always a new adventure. No matter how many times you may have visited a place, there's always new things to see and things to do. How long have you guys been full-timing it?
So just 1 year now. We set out on the road September, so it's now 13 months technically. Our first video dropped October 4th of 2019, but we got on the road September 15th of 2019.
Right.
And we love it. It's funny, as much as we enjoy staying in places for a few weeks, we also get excited to be like, right now we're a week out of departure and we're getting excited to head down to Newport. And
Great.
it's a different feeling from when we used to visit as just regular tourists, because we've got our bed, we've got our stuff, we've got the dog with us, and it's a little bit easier than just going to a hotel.
Right.
Yeah, and I noticed that you use some industry lingo there. The video dropped. That's
I'm in
I'll
charge
tell
of
you,
most
man.
of the YouTube stuff. I apologize.
Not at all. Listen, you sound like a pro. You shared with me that you're a real estate agent, but also you seem to know the industry pretty well, and you both seem like naturals in front of the camera and behind the microphone. And
It's taken some time to get used to it, that's for sure.
Has it?
I've always been boisterous. I've always dominated the conversation.
Yeah.
So I know on some of our videos, people have said, "Hey, let her talk," and she's coming out of her shell more and more. I don't try to talk over her. It's just my natural state. So I apologize to anyone who was like, "I want more of her." We're working on it.
Yeah, as I could say this as an only child, it's the old joke. You're your own best friend, and you have to learn how to make sort of get out there and be a bit of an extrovert. So I that's why I guess I went into broadcasting and all that. But it's interesting because these YouTube phenomenons, relatively new on the timeline. Where people, Mr. and Mrs. Front Porch, if you will, tend to become stars, and how many followers do you guys have right now? Have you...
We're just over 3,800. So we're very, we read all the books before we started this, and we were told if we got there, at 1,000 within a year, we should have been lucky. So we're happy to be where we are for sure. And every couple of days we get more subscribers as we get more of the word out. During, the big shutdown, a lot of our travel videos did much better. Then now that when people can get out of their houses, we're lagging a little bit, but we're still doing well. And we're just constantly showing you, whether you're in an RV or not, this is where you can go. These are some things you can do. These are places you can eat that are more local than, say, going to a big box chain restaurant.
Right. And you've found, I guess, probably some of those little hotspots, hole in the wall places that you've enjoyed.
Absolutely.
And it's been a challenge. I mean, it's one of those things, I do the research to figure out where we're going to go in these cities, and I've noticed it is very hard, obviously with COVID, to have a RV travel channel and show people fun things to do. It's a bummer we can't go to baseball games, things like that.
We were hoping to do a lot of minor league baseball games and stuff like that as we came across the country, and obviously we had to make some adjustments and do a lot more outdoor areas.
But we found beautiful parks, some great food for takeout. It's still doable for sure.
Well, I guess when a door closes, a window opens, or whatever that saying is, and sometimes you have opportunities to explore other things. I'm a huge baseball fan myself, and I would have loved a cross-country minor league tour.
Yes.
I would totally be into that.
And we're going to do that. We're going to do that once it picks up again. We've been hitting a lot of the presidential libraries, and we went to Michigan to see Gerald Ford's. Not because we're political at all. We just think it's great to learn the history of what was going on at that time. And unfortunately, we got through the ones in California, but then now we're going to kind of in a holding pattern. So, we'll pick that up again eventually.
Yeah. Wow. That's terrific. I guess a lot of folks' plans have been put on hold this year, or they've had to kind of recalibrate and figure it all out. We're going to learn a whole bunch more about what you guys are doing and what the plans are ahead. We're going to take a quick break. Speaking with the folks from Runaway with Us RV, it is Ann and Drew speaking to us today from beautiful Cape Cod, Massachusetts. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Back in just a moment.
The RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of the RV owners. We'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality control is in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org.
We are back on the RV Advisor Podcast. That's good English. I'm speaking with the folks. That's a speaking with the folks.
There you go. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, yes, it is. A tongue twister. Run away with us, RV. It is Ann and Drew. And Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix.
There he is, Jimi Hendrix. Look at that little guy, man.
Yeah.
He's can you look in the camera, Jimmy?
What's this?
There you go. Hey, buddy. All right, loving Jimmy. One of my all-time favorite musicians is also a dog.
There you go.
So
Yeah, this is our second guitar named dog. We had Eric Clapton first.
Okay.
And this is Jimi Hendrix, and we've got plenty of guitarists to pick from in the future.
Yeah, and we talked about this before.
Yeah, we're not getting anyone. Look at him. He's already looking at me like, don't pick anybody up just yet.
Yeah. We
like
just
being
lost
an
a
only
great
child.
guitar hero in Eddie Van Halen. So
Yeah, that's
maybe one of your future furry friends will be named in his honor. Who knows?
absolutely.
It's possible.
But that's cool. Are you a musician? Are one of you musicians or both musicians? Or
No, that's I think.
Just appreciate it.
Yeah, that's why we appreciate it even more. We're big vinyl people. We love old records on vinyl and stuff like that.
Cool.
I've always had a fascination with guitarists. I just think it's an amazing skill. So
Yeah.
we had thought about what kind of grouping we wanted to name our pets with, and guitarists and musicians just seemed to fit for us.
I love it. That's great. Well, Jimmy seems like a really well-behaved little guy.
Yeah, he's very mellow for 3.5.
Yeah.
Everyone is so surprised, but when we're out in the field with him, people love it. When we're in Manhattan, our video in New York City, we walked through Central Park, and we had to stop few hundred yards for people to get down on their knees in the dirt just to pet him, because he just gives you this face like, don't you want to say hi?
Yeah, he's terrific.
Right, buddy?
All right. Well, he looks right at you too. That's great.
He loves
Dogs
he
are
loves
the greatest.
people.
They're the greatest. We've had dogs come on the show before, and Will Rogers said, "I never met a man I didn't like," and I can honestly say I could say about the same about dogs. I love dogs. So big dog fan.
And he's got a whole episode just dedicated to him, where we go through some of the origin.
Oh yeah.
He does a little dancing.
All right.
He loves his mother more than his father.
Hey. Well, who feeds him? Who's?
She does, and
Yeah,
I'm the
there you go.
disciplinarian.
Okay, well that's
so.
it. That's you could attribute it to that. I think.
That's right. One's the love, one's the hammer. So
Well, that's great. So we're speaking with Ann and Drew from Runaway with Us RV, and looking at the website, and there's some really cool stuff, and I love the front page of your website with a big expansive shot of the ocean there. Very, very
Thank
cool. And speaking of ocean, you're heading down the East Coast, and you did mention Hilton Head. You're going to stop in Hilton Head and then the trek west. When you guys travel, you're a year into this now, just a little bit over a year into full timing. Do you find that you tend to let the road dictate maybe where you'll go, or is it everything really kind of a hard plan, or do you kind of just say, hey, you know what, let's just drive for a bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have not let that go quite yet. I'm still kind of a planner. We don't like to drive long distances, so we try to keep it under 250 miles every day, mainly because we are only a year out. If something happens, I don't want to be pulling in at dark because I didn't give, I was pulling 500 miles.
Yeah.
And we're not in a rush to get anywhere. So we have a general skeleton plan of where we want to be, and we only book out while I've prepared the entire 6 months. I haven't actually reserved them all. I know where we're planning to be. So if something happens or we get it happened to us in season 1, we went to a place and it wasn't for us. So we just pushed on. And because we had such a small hop, it was able to get to Austin, pushed to Austin. It wasn't that much further. And then we spent 4 days in Austin instead of 2. And it was great because I could do Franklin's barbecue. I got up early in the morning and waited online like a dope, but it was worth it. It was awesome food. So, it was worth it. And so while we have some kind of a rigid plan, we do still leave in some time to adjust and alter it.
Yeah. So a little bit of improvisation sort of worked in.
Like we were supposed to go and spend all of the winter in the Keys in Florida this year.
Yeah.
My mother is in the health profession, and she said, please, 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 for my sake, don't go to Florida this year. She was just concerned with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And she knows that with the other places, we're still at risk, but Florida has a lot of touristy people coming in. So she was just very concerned about that.
Well, I could tell you, we are headquartered just west of Fort Lauderdale, where we are here. And I could tell you that it is, we're feeling it, I mean, we got to be extra careful and be smart and do the right thing. And, some of the state versus local edicts are a little bit at odds. And I think it's without getting political, because we don't get political on the show, but I think it's
we're very neutral.
Yeah, but it's a good idea to just play it smart. I'll just leave it at that. Play it smart. If you've got health issues, play it extra smart.
Absolutely.
Right.
And what we also gave it some thought is a lot of the things we wanted to do were either state or federally run, and they're not going to be open anyways. So we're going to be going there, spending all this time down there, and not get to do half the things in Key West that we wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not going anywhere. We'll be back.
Yep, exactly.
And that's the idea.
Yeah, and we certainly hope that, over the course of the next several months, things will start to, loosen up a little bit, with the hopes of, 2021 being an improvement. I think everyone can agree that this year has been a challenge, to put it mildly.
And it kind of leads into what you were asking originally. Yeah, we're not doing this for 1 year. We're not doing this for 2 years. We've sold everything. This is what we do. So Florida's not going anywhere. We're not, cutting it out and selling it to somebody. So we'll go there another year.
Right.
And it's one of those things. Some of the national parks we weren't able to go to on our northern swing.
Yeah.
They're still going to be there. So we're going to get
unless the peninsula breaks off and floats eastward.
That's why we're trying to get into California as much as possible before the fault line.
Yeah. Yes.
Before Arizona becomes beachfront.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I joke around. We have street flooding here, a fair amount where we are, and I always say, just wait, and we'll have waterfront property by this afternoon.
That's right.
It happens. Tell us about some of the, maybe one great highlight from the road that you've experienced in the last year, like maybe something unexpected. It's like you went with the mindset of, hey, well, we've seen this on TV. We know exactly what we're going to see. And then suddenly it's like, wow, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, we actually have a few, so I'll try to boil it down. But for the first part, going to the Pensacola Destin area and seeing those white sand beaches and so soft, and the turquoise waters, that was just magnificent to us. And, you'd seen it before, but when you actually get to see it with your own eyes, it's really great. Lake Tahoe We've heard about Lake Tahoe. We saw it. We actually met up with another YouTube channel there, and it took our breath away. Just seeing all the beautiful crystal waters and the pine trees. So those two areas were really amazing. And the personal one for me is going to Graceland. And again, we're big into musicians, walking into the mansion, and it was a time capsule of 1976. It was like nothing has changed. And that was really cool for us.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest surprises was in a little town in, I always say Mississippi, but it was, Mississippi, was at the B.B. King Museum. And this is a small little tiny town in Indianola, Mississippi. And this is a world-class museum. And we did a whole video on it because it was just amazing that you're in this little tiny 2-3 traffic light town and this state-of-the-art museum, and including his grave. So we were really thrilled for that experience.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing we try to tell people is stop off in these small little towns and don't just sleep there, explore them a bit, because there are things to do and places to eat.
Yeah, local flavor, as they say, and you can, and the whole country is, dotted with those kinds of places.
Mm-hmm.
You'd mentioned Austin, and I was there on a work-related thing one time, broadcast filming commercials, and we went to a place called the Salt Lick. Which
Salt
was
Lick Barbecue.
Salt Lick Bar. Right, the barbecue place was just fantastic. Kind of in the middle of nowhere, on these kind of rolling hills, but the culture of it, the food, of course, was just out of this world.
Right.
And you just hear about these little places. Oh, you got to try this. Of course, you go where the locals go, right? You don't want to go to the tourist places. You want to say, hey, where do you eat? Where do you go? And
that's part of what Ann does, is she goes into the different blogs and stuff like that and really digs down to find where the locals go. We like to find we went to a place in Chicago that has no signs. It's this amazing Italian place for lemon chicken. And it's in a residential neighborhood. You drive by it every single time because there is no sign, there's no anything. And it was just a 3rd generation restaurant, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we were just happy to find that.
Yeah, love it. Love those kinds of places. So tell folks where they can track your adventures and find out more about Runaway with Us RV. Besides the website, which is, I will say this, Runaway with Us. Actually, it's Runaway W. Oh no, yeah, that's right. Runaway with Us RV. My eyesight's going on.
That's okay. Yeah.
Runawaywithusrv.com is the website, but what about YouTube and other places?
Yeah, so everything is Runaway with Us RV. We wanted to make it across the board. So some of the things we could have been just Runaway with Us, but Runaway with Us RV is across the board. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram.
Pinterest.
Twitter.
As well, Twitter.
But the main focus is on our YouTube. Every Sunday and Wednesday is a different video. Sundays are a different city, a travel video, and every Wednesday is kind of a potpourri, like the Jimi Hendrix video, or like we talk an ice cream challenge, stuff like that.
Yeah, so, yeah. Well, that's terrific. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ann.
No, I was just going to say our focus is travel. We obviously watch a lot of videos on YouTube as well, and it's just a lot of people do. This is how you fix this. This is how you do this, but. We're more on the travel and the eating. That's our channel.
Hey, you know what? You're living life. You're having fun. And yeah, there's a little something for everybody out there in the RV community. I would be more in line with what you guys do because I am not a fixer-upper guy. I can't get the toaster to work half the time. But with you guys, well, that's not exactly true. I kind of lied. I know how the toaster, because I can get around in the kitchen, as you could tell. But any kind of fixer-upper stuff, I gotta call somebody.
Yeah. You're probably similar to me. I can do the little things, but when it comes to changing a giant tire off the RV or changing the oil, I'm gonna go out and get somebody for that.
You need an assist there, do you?
I do.
Yeah, so I hear you.
We've met some great people on the road, and that's the one thing I would say to anyone is we're approachable. We have branding on the side of the RV, on the side of the Jeep. You see us out there, come say hello. I talk to strangers. My wife's known this for 20 years of marriage. YouTube or not, I'm going to talk to strangers. So
Hey, that's great. Listen, you know what? Like we say a lot of times on this show, it's just family and friends you haven't met yet.
Well, that's exactly it. And, you know, no matter what your position is on anything else, we're all out there trying to make the best day for each other. And we're polite, we say hello, and we're happy to meet you. We're also happy to hear things on our website. You can go to the last page is to contact with us. You can send me an email, and my phone's on there. Send me a text. I want to hear, like, hey, if you're going to Dallas, go to this place or look up this place. And we may not get to it because sometimes we get flooded with ideas, but we like to hear about it anyways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's terrific. So it's runawaywithusrv.com. That's the good starting point. And then, of course, you can track them on.
Yeah, you can link to all our social media right through that.
Perfect. Get to all of it right there. Just go to their site, and you can go to Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and of course their YouTube page where all their videos show up on, I believe you said Sundays and Wednesdays?
Sundays and Wednesdays. Sundays a city, Wednesdays a potpourri.
There you go. And that is absolutely terrific.
And be prepared for goofiness, because I can't hold it back. We were just in Mackinac Island, and there's a little movie from the 80s called Somewhere in Time that Ann loves, and we reenacted several scenes from that. I'm no Christopher Reeve, so it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
He's closer to Jane Seymour than I am to Christopher.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, terrific. Listen, that is awesome. We really appreciate you taking time out to join us. It's Ann and Drew. Run away with us, RV, and please, you know, if you can't run away with them, then watch them, and then you can run away vicariously with them. That's
exactly the idea of the name.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Love to have you on again.
We'd love it too. Thank you so much.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.